we're almost losing the battle with fire. We're trying to suppress it with the same tactics we've used for 50, 60, 100 years. And we're at a point now where we need to find new ways to fight fire and new technology. My name is Simon Weibel, and I'm the Director of Fire Operations and Client Development for Drone Amplified. Fighting fire with fire has been one of the tactics used in wildland fire for a very long time. So our system is just another tool that fits into that ecosystem. You know, in 2020, which was like one of our first major fire seasons with the federal U.S. Forest Service using our system, they dropped over 500,000 balls on wildfires. Traditionally, this was done from helicopters. So they would have a PSD dispenser out the door of the helicopter with an operator, and then they'd fly back and forth and drop the balls in the area that they were working. That's one of the most dangerous things in fire you can do with a helicopter. Almost a quarter of all deaths in wildland fire come from aviation. And so what this does is it takes the operator outside of the helicopter and allows it to be done safer, cheaper, and more efficient. There's always going to be, a place for helicopters in aerial ignition, but we're able to utilize our system on burns that traditionally wouldn't be done with those aerial resources because it'd be too dangerous or too small. The Ignis system uses basically the PSD technology. So it's a plastic sphere dispenser. And so what it is you have little balls that are made out of plastic filled with about 3 grams of potassium permanganate. And what the system does is inject it with glycol. So we use over-the-counter antifreeze. And what that does is it starts an exothermic reaction that acts as a fuse. So when we drop the balls from our hopper, they're going through that chemical reaction and getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And then after about 20 to 30 seconds, it gets hot enough to combust the plastic. And basically we're making micro ignition points, which then catch the receptive fuel bed on fire. And we can really control fire intensity, where the fire goes, and how hot it burns. Generally, there's going to be a situation where on a wildfire, they want to do a burnout. So instead of going direct and cutting a line right along the edge of the fire, they're going to back off to control lines, kind of build that containment line, and then create a fire they control and basically push it back towards the main fire. If they're going to utilize the Ignis system, generally they would set up a drone spot or LZ and put the drone up in the air and scout the line, scout the fire with the infrared and the visual camera, get an idea of what's happening. Then we would put the Ignis on the drone, so it just fits on the payload rails and then connects through the drone's flight controller. And then they're gonna see through the burn boss or whoever's in charge of the operation where they want the balls to be dropped. I think we're at a point now where, our system and our company is one part of a bigger puzzle. We're seeing advances in aerial firefighting, from helicopters doing night operations to, customer facing companies that alert the public when they need to evacuate. So I see like a trend towards where we need to head, which is having technology not replace, but enhance our ability to operate around these big wildfires.